Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and today I was going to do a video on a Yuasa radius and tangent dresser. So I know that Steve Barton just got one of these, and I was going to just go over it again, how to set up the front and the nose piece and the diamond and everything. But then when I went to go move my diamond holder here, man, it was locked up solid. Years since I'd even moved that thing. So the coolant, the rust, and it was assembled dry. And I tell you, I had to stop everything I was doing, forget my video, and get this diamond holder out. See, this thing pivots on here, and I took the two set screws completely out, flooded it with oil, no joy, and just barely got it working, just a little bit with a wrench on this square here. And I ended up doing kind of a combination. I got a little propane torch and put a little heat in this area here to expand it, but then I used this, and this actually freezes on contact. It gets pretty cold, and I froze this. So the differential between the cold and the hot here enabled me to get this out. A little bit of knocker loose, and I tell you, we did finally get this turkey out of here, and was able to clean it up. And you can see I put it together with a little bit of anti-seize, because who knows when this thing's going to get moved again. So we're going to set it and pretty much leave it in place. But if you ever want to get it out or change it, these are pretty easy to make. If you got different size diamonds, or you want a little bit shorter or longer nose, you can make this piece. It's fairly easy to make out of some 3/4 square stock. Anyways, just thought I'd share. The CRC guys are real good to us, and these three products, wonderful. I've never tried a combination of hot and cold, but the freeze off was really good. I was able to freeze this thing, which shrunk it and heat that the main snout, expand it, and a little bit of pressure with a wrench and a rod through that hole. I'm pulling, and it popped right out of there, and I was able to clean it up and get it back together. All right. So let's put the radius and tangent dresser back together and get back to our regularly scheduled video. Okay, well, we got the whole thing stripped down. It's over on the bench or on the surface plate. And we're going to set this Yuasa up like it's never been set up, like it's a brand new unit. And you are going to need a few tools to get you going. Right now we're just floating here. All the pins are out and everything's off of this front end. There's no diamond in here, and our little snout diamond holder is loose. So there's a few tools you're going to need. You're going to need a way to comparatively measure height, so a surface gauge with an indicator. A center tool. Now, the center line of your radius dresser, the center line of this unit needs to be known. Mine is 0.400, so 400 thousandths of an inch is center line height for this unit. Real easy gauge to make if you don't have one, but you need to, if you don't know the center height of your tool, make sure you measure it and make a little height gauge to aid you in setting your diamond. So you will need that. You're going to need some kind of a gauge pen. We're going to just replace the diamond with a gauge pen just to make some comparative measurements. So you do need a gauge pen, or even an old end mill would work. They're pretty accurate. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do first is set our center height and our center height baseline, and this is going to become evident later. You're going to notice there's a couple of bushings that are included with the unit. Now, one is cut eccentric and one is cut concentric. And out here on the face, you've got a little recessed area here, and you've got another one over here that's just flat. Now the concentric one goes down in this recess with a screw, and all we're doing now is establishing our base or our center line. And that little pin's going to drop down inside that recess, so we've got that. And next up, we're going to put in, this is our slide pin, and it slides left and right. And you need to make sure all your stuff is free floating. we're going to drop this pin in. We're going to slide down until we hit that. Now we're going to put in our eccentric one. And we're going to roll that around. Which way do we want to roll that? We're going to be tightening this direction. Let's roll it around this way. And make sure it's rolled into the slide pin. Can't get my fat fingers in there. There we go. Rolling it over. And as you tighten, it should maintain a zero clearance to that slide pin. Then you check your slide pin, make sure it actually slides. So now we can move up. If we slide to the left, and if we slide to the right, we can go down. So we can go two different directions. All right, we've set our center height. And now this little pin right here locks a, I'm not going to call it a gib, but there's a little lock mechanism inside of here which locks the dovetail on the slider. Don't over tighten it and keep it oiled. And now everything's all locked up tight. Everything's pulled in. Everything's good. Now we still got our diamond that's pretty loosey-goosey here. And what we want to do is we want to set it, set your tool to 90 degrees. I'm using the scale up here. Use your vernier on the scale and make sure it's absolutely 90. And now we want to set our, so we got 0 way over here, 90 over here. Now we're going to drop our gauge pin in and hang it out both sides. And we can just put a little bit of pressure on there just to take up any slop. Don't gronk on it, just barely snug it, just to take any movement out of it. And now we're going to comparatively measure left, right, and keep tipping this around until we're equal by equal. That way we know our diamond's facing exactly straight up. Okay, so we got the operating head turned 90 degrees. We set it at 90 right up here at top. Using the vernier scale, we got 60 minutes each direction. So I'll make sure you're very accurately set at 90. Put on some cheater lenses or use a magnifying glass or something to set that. So we've got a very accurate 90. Zero's over here. So our carriage is flat. But what we want to do now is make sure that diamond is standing straight up when it's at 0. So we want this horizontal. We're going to take a comparative measurement with the gauge. And all we're going to do is take our, just leave the gauge kind of there. And I've got this just snug enough so where I can still move it and probably tap it around. And I've got a gauge pin in here. So let's see where we're at here. A little over 0. And where's this one? That one's way over 0. So we're just going to give it a little knock around there. So we're a thou over. And about a thou and a half over. .2. And about 1.4. If we're going to get picky with it, let's get picky. I went too far. Alright. We're too high there. .2 and 1.3. I'm calling it there. All right, our diamond is parallel with our 0, and all we need to do is tighten up and then double check. So we'll tighten our set screws, and hopefully this doesn't move when I tighten these. We can check it again. Right at 1, so it probably did move. This one should be high by all rights and reasons. Yeah, So you're half thou off on your vertical. This is your high one here, but I really don't think I'm going to get any movement. Well, I did. All right, we're happy. Thou per side. And a final cinch. And a final cinch. And you can see now this connection never comes loose. We never take that loose. So getting that out and loose for this demonstration was kind of the reason for my first bit of madness there. All right, we're happy. Okay, now we're swung all the way back around to zero. Our gauge pin is facing straight up, and we can take our gauge pin out of there now. And now we're going to establish center height and actually put our diamond in there. And we're going to put our diamond in just kind of roughly for now, and we're going to set it lower than we know it needs to go. And now I'm going to swing it around 180 degrees, facing our diamond straight down. And there's 180 right there. So we are absolutely straight down. We're going to bring in our center tool and park it under our diamond. All I'm going to do right now is release that diamond and put it down till the diamond touches the tool. As so. And then tighten our set screw and we're done. Just going to put a little pressure on that diamond to make sure it stays down, doesn't try to lift or do anything funny. Okay. Alright, so now our center is set. You don't want to scratch that diamond across the tool, so just raise your radius dresser up and pull your tool out of there. Now at this point our diamond is centering around itself. We've established zero, so the tip of that diamond is swinging around nothing. It's zero. All right. So now let's go look at what it takes to cut a concave or a convex wheel. You know. Now let's get into what we're going to do with the wheel. We're going to release our dovetails. And now we've got this pin that slides. And let me go get some gauge blocks, and let's pick 1/2 inch. So let me go get a gauge block, and I'll be right back. Okay, 1/2 inch gauge block. And let's say we wanted to cut, we want to lift our diamond up. That way when we cut, we're cutting a concave wheel, or the wheel shape is going to have a hole in the middle of it. We just drop a gauge block over here. Put our slider down till it touches over on this side between our slide pin and our, get that slide pin a little farther in there. Okay, so we got our gauge block set in between those two pins. We tighten our dovetail, and for my next trick I'll get this gauge pin out of here, and now we are cutting. Oh yeah, don't forget to take this pin out. Now we're cutting a wheel with a 1/2 inch radius in a concave fashion. Let's go back the other way. Let's put our pin back in here. Loosen our dovetail. Now we're going to go down to center line, but this time we're going to move the pin over and put our gauge block in here. Lift it up. And if it helps you, turn your tool over so nothing falls out. And then tighten your dovetail again. And then you can pull all this malarkey out of here. And pull your pin out. And now we're cutting convex on the wheel. So we've established our center line, and we use gauge blocks up against these pins to establish positive or negative wheel shapes. All right, and this is the easy part. Getting it set up is the hard part. After you're set up, you got your center line set, you got your diamond zeroed, and basically the diamond is calibrated to the protractor, you know. There's one other feature on here that right now all that's happening is this thing's just spinning around in circles. So there's some stops back here. Here in the back there's a pair of stops, and this pin makes you hit those stops at a very specific place. So you can control how far you spin that diamond, how far around that diamond comes. If you want to just do a quarter, a quarter radius, or a 180, or depending on what you want to do, you can set your hard stops back there, and then this pin in enables the hard stops, pin out ignores the hard stops. Okay, I was going to show you how I set my back stops. Pin right here in, we spin around. I got my left stop set to 90, and I got my right stop set to 91, and that's for back cutting wheels and giving them a 1 degree relief. So that's how I set my hard stops, and like I say, when you pull a pin here, now we're just free to spin all the way around. Alright. So if you're, and what I was looking at here, you see you got 60-minute veneers way over here and way over here. So you check over here, you check your 0, and you check over here. The camera's looking at it at an angle, but my read looking straight in is right there is 0. So you're probably getting a little funny angle on it, but that's how I set mine. I look left, look right, look center, make sure all 3 lines are lined up. You've probably got a better view of this one over here, but than you do this one and this one. But that's my read on that. And this scale is a little subject to interpretation, but the extra increments of the minute marks help you out a lot. All right, and when you're done with your radius and cutting your special wheels and everything, getting back on 0 is as simple as raising your dovetail up and putting that pin so it's sticking out over both of the eccentric and concentric pins, tightening your dovetail up, and you're back on 0. And don't ever mess with this out here. You're done. You don't have to do this again until your diamond wears out and you have to change your diamond. But that puts you right back on center, right where you were. So that's convex and concave. All right, guys. This was not any tangent functions of this unit. This is just radius. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And to Mr. Steve Barton, enjoy your Yuasa, Japanese-made radius and tangent dresser. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.